If there's anything that I'm proud of, it's that people always seem to point out that I am my father's son. Growing up, I remember my dad was my hero. He was the one person that I always looked up to. And I remember no one really had much more influence than he did. There was a lot of people I loved and cared about, but he was above all of that. He was the one person I wanted to have love me. So when my parents got divorced, there was a lot of confusion in me growing up as a kid. I still knew my dad and we still talked, but I craved time and love and attention from him that I didn't get because he was physically not there. I knew he loved me, but I felt like I needed to live my life to please him. And so I found myself doing anything, scrambling for opportunities to make him proud, to make him happy, and so that when he did see me, he would show his love and show his appreciation for everything I did, and that was something I craved. And when I had it, I felt secure and confident in who I was, but more often than not, I didn't have it, and I would go to this place where I was hurt, and I'd cover up that hurt with anger, and I got really insecure and started doing things to cover myself up and to hide from all of that. When I wasn't with my dad, I usually found myself striving to get the attention of other people, and for a while it was just older men who could somehow fit the mold of father figure, but after a while it was just trying to get everyone to love me and everyone to appreciate me, just to fill that void that the absence of my father created. In all the things I was going through, in my anger and my hurt, I found myself doing things that my dad would have hated. I stopped trying to please him because he wasn't around, and at the same time I was trying to please him when I knew he'd be present. So I found myself hurt and confused in that way, and I started drinking and I started fighting. I just became really violent and abusive, especially towards my younger brother. I withdrew a lot from the crowd, and at the same time I'd find myself trying to be lost in a crowd of people, so that no matter what, I was either dealing with my pain by myself or running away from it. The more I lived this double life, the more I was afraid to tell my dad who I really was and what I was doing, because I was afraid that I couldn't handle his disappointment in me. So that led to a lot of turmoil and a lot of confusion in myself growing up. I had grown up going to church and believing in God and all of that stuff, but after a while I stopped believing that he really existed, and I wasn't sure even if he was real that he could forgive me for all the stuff I was doing. So when I heard that he'd actually come down to die for me so he could forgive me, and anybody else who had lived like I did, that struck a chord with me. He actually loved me. God actually loves and chases after people like me, wants to be in relationships with people like me who rejected him. And so that was a great comfort to me, because that's the love I was looking for. I was looking for someone who would take me in and accept me no matter what I had been doing. I learned that he had come to die on the cross for all those things, so that through Jesus I wouldn't have to pay for all the things that I had done wrong, and that he'd actually wipe my slate clean permanently. I didn't have to worry about any of that stuff, and I could have a perfect, loving relationship with him. For me, the coolest thing was he didn't just forgive me, God actually adopted me, and he took me in like his own son, even though I'd been running away from him for so long. And that was the end factor for me. He calls me son, and he looks at me like his own kid. And so that was the home slice for me. Even though I still love my dad, I still love my earthly dad, and I still love being around him and knowing he loves me and love his attention when I get it. There's no way that he could have filled the void in the beginning and fixed all my problems. Even if he was there, God was the root, and he's my father. He took me in. my life now is all about bringing people to know about my dad. I said it before, and I say it for this reason. There's nothing I'm more proud of than to say that I'm my father's son. I'm God's son. That's my story.